Hey guys, I know it's been another week and there's so much coming up. Got the holiday of Passover this week. But I want to take a moment to focus on this Shabbos, because this Shabbos is a special Shabbos. I know you've heard that before, but this Shabbos actually has its own name, Shabbat Hagadol, the Great Shabbos. Where did it get that name from? On this Shabbos, we commemorate a great miracle that took place 4 days before the Jews left Egypt. 4 days before the Jews left Egypt, God commanded the Jewish people to prepare the Paschal sacrifice, to take it into their home, because on the 14th of Nisan, they were going to bring it as a sacrifice. There was going to be the plague of the firstborn, and then the Jews were going to be redeemed. Now the sheep was a sacred animal, it was worshipped in Egypt. So when the Egyptians see the Jews taking sheep to their homes, they said, "Where are you going with our gods?" And they said, "Well, we're bringing it as a Paschal sacrifice, and then there's going to be the death of the firstborn, and we're going to be redeemed." Now the firstborn of Egypt heard what was going on, and they were really scared. See, the firstborn of Egypt were the elite of Egyptian society. And they ran to Pharaoh and they said, "Hey, our lives are on the line. God is 9 for 9. When he said there was going to be a plague, he's brought the plague. If the death of the firstborn, you got to let us go. You got to let the Jews go." Pharaoh, who himself was a firstborn, said, "No, they're not going anywhere." And what happened was the elite of Egyptian society, the firstborn, started a civil war with the Egyptian army. They started fighting for their very lives. They said, "You got to let the Jews go." And this is the miracle we commemorate. Now you might be wondering, God has performed many great miracles. In fact, even in that time, there were so many great miracles. Why is this something that we commemorate? It gets its own Shabbos, it gets its own name. The reason is because it came from the Egyptians themselves, from the very elite of Egyptian society fighting on our behalf. Our oppressors became our advocates. You see, a miracle is when nature is changed, when there's a change within nature. But to take it a step further, in this instance, there was a change even in the spiritual realms. You see, in spirituality, you have holiness, you have things that are neutral, they can be elevated or, God forbid, denigrated. And then you have things which are intrinsically unholy. They can't even be elevated. And the Egyptians fell into that last category. They were unholy, couldn't be elevated. But in this instance, we saw a change within the spiritual realms when darkness itself was fighting on behalf of light, was fighting on behalf of the Jewish people. And that is the ultimate, that is the greatest transformation. When you have darkness itself being transformed into light, fighting for light, that is the ultimate. And that is why this is such a special Shabbos. We now live in a time that is unprecedented in recent history. A lot of darkness. And this Shabbos we are asking God, the same way you performed miracles for the Jewish people then and transformed darkness into light, it is time to transform the darkness around us into light. And this month of miracles, it is time to perform the ultimate miracle and redeem us from exile. And I want to end on a personal note. This Tuesday, my family and I are commemorating a great miracle. A year ago, from this Tuesday, the day before Passover, many of you know, some of you don't, that me and my kids were involved in a horrible car accident. And it was miraculous, miracles upon miracles, that thank God we are okay today. I spoke to a witness a week later, somebody who witnessed the accident, someone who wasn't Jewish, and she said, somebody up there was watching over you. That's the only explanation. I share this because normally when we commemorate a miracle, we want to do it with a lot of people. And this year I don't have that ability. But I want to share with you that miracles do happen. They take place in our lives all the time. Sometimes they happen in a really crazy way, like they did in my family's and my personal life, but they happen all around us. So stay strong. We're in the month of miracles, and we ask God, now is the time to perform the ultimate miracle, the final redemption. Shabbat Shalom.